What's poppin', everyone? Welcome to another episode of Remember When. My name is Jose. With me today are my boys Amir and Johnny. Say what's up, guys.
I'm Johnny, and I am one with the Force.
What's up, y'all? He is not one with the Force.
Man, I'm always with the Force, man. The Force is real.
It's not with you.
Yeah, it is with me. Don't make me Force choke you. What if I actually did it?
He just flies up against the wall.
You should have been showed that. We could have made money.
Or a government kidnapped my ass. Put me in the Area 51.
Hey, May the 4th be with our audience. That's tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah,
the Force is with all y'all.
Yes. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. I think that's what the blind guy had said. Mm-hmm. You remember?
Yeah, Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One. Yeah. I love that guy. I was praying when I first watched that. I was like, he's going to get the Force. He's going to do some. No spoilers, but
it's a prequel to
the Force. The Force was not with him. I will tell you that much.
Nah.
It was not.
It wasn't with him or the other chick or that one robot.
Or 95% of the population.
It was not with that whole movie.
I mean, because the way that they all ended, technically, were they with the Force? Because the Force is a guiding path, so it guides you to a certain path. So it leads you to, maybe if it leads to your death, the Force did guide you there. So is the Force the good guy or the bad guy? Or is it like a force of nature? Like,
are we going books or non-books?
Okay. Okay. Now you're being a nerd.
You see, this started to feel like a college elective. He said, so now tell me, what is the Force really?
What is the Force?
What does it
How many
actually
books
mean?
have you read, young nigga? But seriously, if y'all don't watch the original trilogy, are you a fan?
Yeah, are you really a fan?
Do you know Pain?
No, you don't know real Pain.
Why we hate sand?
No, you don't.
That was good.
First off, that's foul because you said original trilogy, but you mentioned sand. Nah, that don't work, bro.
It's context, bro. You got to understand why he hates the sand.
You don't need to.
Yes, you do.
You say you understand. Lineage. You don't understand true pain until you've seen it. No, you don't understand true pain unless you watch them prequels, especially the first two. The first two is I've rewatched them for this episode.
Actually?
It was hard, and I'm not gonna lie. For all the people who say like, "Yo, you watch Clone Wars, like the CG series and everything around it, it makes the prequels better." No, it doesn't. It does not, bro. It does not. The prequels are still garbage, bro.
That's a booty argument because
it is a booty argument, bro.
Yeah, like you're highlighting points of the story, but it's not the fucking movie.
It's not. Like, why are y'all like? It's like
it's technically not canon, like the books.
Some of them. Like, it's like, yo, Darth Maul's so cool, but in the movie is cool. But if it's just the movie, he sucks. Like, that's it.
Yeah, if you leave it as just the movie, Darth Maul really was not that cool. Like,
he didn't do anything.
His presence was cool, but physically, lame.
Okay, he killed Qui-Gon Jinn, which, I mean, technically did cascade into, like, maybe Count Dooku turning bad and stuff like that, but...
Did you really feel like, the way they showed Qui-Gon Jinn, you didn't feel that he was, like, this stellar superstar, like, an unkillable force.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So you were like, all right, well, he's strong, but he's not like Master Yoda. He's not like Windu or any of that.
Yeah, he ain't Force Jesus. That's Obi-Wan. So
I ain't gonna lie. I think the second movie was like, I don't know if I can't determine which one's the worst.
Of the prequels.
Yeah, the prequels. Like, Revenge of the Sith is easily the best one. Easily.
Mm-hmm.
But the first two, I'm like, dog, both of these are simultaneously boring. Like the first one you're talking about, like, so let's talk about the trades. So, remember the treaty back in 1650? Well, like, what the fuck are we talking about, bro? Like, if I was a kid watching this, I'd be like, bro, this is boring.
It's world building, Johnny.
It is, but it's boring world. There's a good world building and there's boring world building. Mm-hmm. That movie is boring world building.
Listen, how old is that movie?
What, 1990? 8, 7?
Yeah.
6? Somewhere around there.
You gotta give it some lenience.
No, I am not. Because you know what came out in 1970s?
This isn't like old Godzilla,
You want to know what came out in 1970s? Star Wars. And then The Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi. Damn near masterpieces. Not Return of the Jedi, but damn near masterpieces. Damn near. Them prequels, no. Nah, they failed. I ain't gonna lie. The show that we talking about today is a good reason why Star Wars needs to stay animated.
It is a very good reason. I agree with that.
100%. Like, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Mace Windu did nothing. People hype up Mace Windu. They're like, yo, Mace Windu, he's awesome, man. In episode 2, he didn't do shit. He's just sitting in a chair.
Bro, he already collected the swag. Like, there's nothing to flex at this point. He's chilling. He's on the council. Let him be.
Man, I don't give a damn.
He earned his stripes.
I don't give a damn if you were a Vietnam vet.
Watch the animated.
If I don't see you get up from your chair and then do some knife tricks, then I don't trust you. That's what Mace Windu should have done.
There were some people on the council. Yoda got up from his chair.
He force pushed
the nigga with the dookie head.
That guy.
You Mundy?
Yeah.
Dookie head.
Everyone else pretty much just died. But
yeah, Master Plo, Kit Fisto.
Oh, so
Poe? Kung Fu Panda?
No, Plo.
Plo Koon, Plo
Master
Koon.
Poe?
Master Poe.
Master
The Dragon Warrior.
Prequels would have been better if they had fuck Poe.
Yeah, so we're talking about the 2003 Clone Wars, the
That's
real Clone Wars.
That's right.
You know, this was the framework, so that way the 2008 Clone Wars could actually run. So that way it can go for, what is it, 6, 7, 8 seasons? Seven seasons.
Seven seasons with
six,
spinoffs.
and then a 7th one, and then spinoffs, continuations, and still feeding into the Star Wars canon today. But this laid down the foundation for all of that.
Mm-hmm. And it's made by the animating legend Gennady Tartakovsky. You know, Dexter's Lab, Samurai Jack, Symbiotic Titan, Primal on Adult Swim, Hotel Transylvania. He helped work on Powerpuff Girls. This man, I ain't gonna lie, is probably like my favorite like animator, deadass, like 100%. Because you got Samurai Jack under your belt, bro. I love that show.
This is probably the Cartoon Network architect. You could argue he is literally the backbone of good cartoons.
Yeah, literally there during the golden years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, the fact that they put him on this project for, like, I was looking at some behind the scenes and they're like, they're like, George Lucas wants to commission us. Screw it, let's do it. And they made it so damn good because what he's great at is visual storytelling. Like if you watch Samurai Jack, or even better example, Primal on Adult Swim, there's dialogue, but there's like, especially in Primal, it's like caveman speak, or like you'll be using like one word like sentence and that's it. But everything else is by visual storytelling. And this show in the Clone Wars does have moments of like this dialogue, but a lot of it is like visuals and like just show me some cool action. That's a lot of this series, like a lot of what this show was.
20% dialogue and 80% action.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And to give a little bit of context for everyone, this is a micro series. So when this show initially came out, so the first, I forgot how many episodes, 15 or so, they were all 3-minute installments. So you have to tell a story in 3 minutes, and not only tell it, but tell it good. You got to captivate the audience, maybe even try to build the characters there in that time. And the fact that they were able to flourish in all those categories that we normally see done in 22, 24, 25 minutes, in 3 minutes is incredible. And Johnny, what he was saying is that Gennady Tartakovsky's style of, visual storytelling is perfect for that 3-minute time frame, because you don't need, you don't need a lot of exposition in a 3-minute story. You should not have a lot of exposition, because if you do, you're detracting from like what you should be doing, and is captivating visually the audience. And you can see that with even Disney, how they do their little shorts before movies. Most of the time, it's that same exact style of visual storytelling, minimal dialogue. Not that dialogue detracts from it, but it's that, when you have a limited time, that's more of the style and way to go. But I love that this series had full creative freedom. George Lucas said, you guys got this, go get him.
Yeah.
And I think that resulted in just so many beautiful things in this series. And we'll talk about a bunch of them. But first, I want to go back and talk about Mace Windu and Kit Fisto and those guys that got some crazy justice in this show. We got to talk about the Mace Windu scene.
All
we
the
have to
people
talk
that
about
didn't
this.
stand up from the chair in the movies.
Yeah. And this is a prime example of what Johnny means by it just needs to stay animated. Because, for example, Samuel Jackson, love him, right? Cannot do any of the things that Mace Windu did in this series. Not even remotely close. Cannot touch base to anything he does in this series.
Bruce Lee to do that shit.
Yeah, bro, you are never gonna see Mace Windu come up in the middle of a desert surrounded by thousands of droids. You're like, holy shit, how is he gonna get around this? And he doesn't even have his lightsaber. How is he gonna win? Force push. Pulls up, punches the lights out of all of them. Takes the nuts and bolts out of one and then throws them at a whole group like a machine gun. What?
This series, for those that played Star Wars Force Unleashed, that's what it made me feel again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Where like the Jedi was just all powerful, and it was like, what's a clone trooper and what's a droid to a god? Like that's what it felt like, and they just fully realized that. I love it. I do wonder why the fuck this man's fingers are so strong he could go through a droid. But I thought it was cool because like punch. You remember like I think it was episode 3 where in the very beginning they used force speed like to go around the droids. This show, they frequently use that stuff. Like the whole bop bop bop, like where he's hitting the droids super fast. Why didn't they use that more? Like, but it was so appreciated in this series. If you're like a book reader and you know the full range of force powers, it gives so much credit. It makes them really feel like they're in tune with the force and they earn that seat. You know what I mean? Instead of the movies where you kind of just see them sitting there and it's like, oh, well, he's hard.
These dudes are literally leaping buildings, like buildings worth of height. Meanwhile, like the way he dies in Mace Windu dies in episode 3, spoiler alert. Like, the way he dies, I mean, yeah, gets his arm cut off. That's pretty bad. But he just gets, shocked out the window. It's like, I was half expecting like, oh, Mace Windu is still alive because he probably used some force thing to land safely. Nah, he's forever dead.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this Mace Windu, so this. How you can currently watch it is broken up into 2 different volumes. You have Volume 1, and Volume 2 is essentially the General Grievous storyline is what we'll call it, because that's the primary focus of it, and the build up to what is that, episode 6?
Episode 3.
Oh, episode 3. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because of prequels. My bad. Yeah. So episode 3 of Star Wars. But later on, Mace Windu, he literally not only jumps out a window, he blindly lands on a starship. He punches through it, grabs the wires, is guiding it with one hand, has his lightsaber in the other, and is just taking everything down possible and just is doing this nonchalantly. So that same guy could not survive a fall, in the movies. So, but the storyline for Volume 1 is kind of straightforward, you kind of need to puzzle it together a little bit, but essentially the Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to a planet called Munilist, and he's leading an assault on it, which is the home of the Intergalactic Banking Clan, which are allies of the Separatists. And they have a bounty hunter that they need to fight. Did they ever say the name of the bounty hunter?
They didn't say the name in the show, but his real name's Dirge.
Dirge,
yes. That man was, I know you probably know more. It's like a legend in the books, like at the time. Like I never knew about him ever, like in any Star Wars media, but I think in the books they expanded on him more. Could
you tell us a little bit about him then, Amir, or what you may know about Dirge?
I mean, the thing with this series, like, I forgot, what was that one we were talking about that always regenerates?
Dirge. Dirge.
Yeah, that was the bounty hunter.
My bad. I get like multiple bounty hunters confused because I watched the more recent show. But in this show, his species is literally ever evolving and regenerates at a fast rate. So initially he has like one of the best armors. He's got, good facilities when it comes to weaponry. So he's out there doing the work, but meanwhile he's literally damn near immortal. So he could regenerate from any wound. So what are you going to do? Like, what's a clone trooper going to do to that?
They could do nothing.
Shit. They're gonna die. They're gonna die because he's smart too, and he could just regenerate. So he's taking all types of crash out behavior, respectfully. But I just thought it was interesting because the Jedi was his biggest weakness, because that's the only thing that could really take him out. So they was throwing him in like lava pits, cutting off his head in different ways, making sure he's all shredded up. Man felt like Shredder. He just kept coming back. Like this man had like a fucking some type of revival pit.
Bro, I thought it was so bad when Obi-Wan stabs him and then it's just silence. And then he laughs like the Predator in Predator 1 where he's like activating the bomb. He's like, and then Obi-Wan's like, huh? Bop, 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 like just pieces him up. I was like, damn, boy.
So that was one of the hardest moments and probably the entire micro series, but definitely just like, honestly, probably in Star Wars history, Obi-Wan Kenobi is in clone trooper armor, which not gonna lie,
bro,
badass sight.
Stays that.
It's crazy.
They should have kept that in the movies.
100%. It's actually one of the craziest looks. Like, and again, these are like 3-minute installments. So if you want to go see this fight for yourself, go on YouTube. 3 minutes of your life, and it's absolutely fantastic. And again, this micro series is all action. So against the movies, which is a lot of exposition, dialogue, built, just trying to provide context. This one, they're not even trying to give you context. They're like, hey, war's going on, we're fighting it.
Yeah.
You like
That is
hands,
exactly
boy?
it. Yeah.
like the volume 1 and volume 2, like I'll say volume 1 takes more place a little after episode 2, while volume 2 takes place a little like before episode 3. So you can watch it and then think of the timelines like that. But at the end of the day, this series is now non-canon thanks to like Disney doing their own thing. But in my primate brain, this series is still 100% canon. I love it. I don't care. I don't give a damn what Disney say. This series is still canon because the way that they showcase certain things, like we'll get to more in their certain things later, but especially with Grievous, I was like, dude, why didn't they keep some of this? Man, I want to talk about Grievous now, but I'll wait. Like Ventress, when she comes in, like seeing how Dooku acquired her as like an apprentice assassin, like I thought that was really cool. You see how she fights, and then eventually you see how she spars against Dooku, how she ain't really shit compared to him, but he still takes her under his wing, and then eventually she goes to seek out and fight it. Bait Anakin into a duel. It ends up being like one of the coolest fights too, because like it feels atmospheric. They're going like it's literally just a 1v1. Rain's coming down. It's looking epic as fuck, bro. When I tell you, if you're a Star Wars fan, if you have never seen any of this series, bro, look it up. It has some of the best Star Wars action you will ever see in your life. In your life, I'm not playing around. Fuck CG Clone Wars. Fuck the movies. I don't care. This is the best action you will ever see in Star Wars, like 100%.
And to Johnny's point, there is a scene with Kit Fisto doing a lightsaber battle underwater. And you also see some crazy things with the Force that you've never seen before. He does a Force bubble.
Yeah, what?
I was like, I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, he had a lightsaber that can, actually work underwater and was taking on an army. And it was cool because that's exactly what you would imagine would be from Kit Fisto. You look at him and you're like, he has to be an underwater menace, just an absolute, just filthy and underwater
You're a
combat.
specialist in something.
Yeah, right. And they put respect to his name. And that's what's really cool about Volume 1 especially, is that the main premise, again, is against the banking clan, and you get the Anakin Saj Ventress storyline. But you get these quick one-off shots of just different Jedi, different Jedi Masters, and putting a little bit of respect on their name and just a little bit more lore in the Star Wars story. For example, the how a lightsaber was built, that was revealed. And I'm not 100% certain, but I'd like to say that was not revealed prior to that episode, like how a lightsaber was created and like previous like Star Wars lore or storytelling.
Probably in books, but other than that, probably
that's what I was thinking. Maybe in books, but in terms of visual media, I don't think that was ever shown.
Visually, I think that was one of the first, because I don't think they ever touched that really on that in the movies. For real.
If they did in the prequels, I'm sorry, they're boring as fuck. I fell asleep.
They definitely didn't.
They definitely didn't, but if they did have a scene, then we apologize. Star Wars nerd. But we have to talk about probably the character that they did the most dirty in like the actual lore. General Grievous. General Grievous is a fucking menace. He is such a menace in this show. In the movies, you know General Grievous, he's going, Anakin Skywalker.
After he got fucked up by he got fucked up by Samuel Jackson prior.
Well, yeah, technically in this show, yeah, because in this show it shows before he got that cough, and in like it's the first scene you see Mundi and like a bunch of Padawan and Shakti, Ayla, the blue sexy chick, and like a bunch of Padawans, bro. You just see them all like surrounded by droids, and then General Grievous comes out. He's like, I will give you an honorable death. Step out, or I'll just come like straight to you. And then he goes straight to them. One of the Padawans, he's like, yeah, I got this. Boom. You see the whole menace of General Grievous, and he lays the work one by one. He is the most scariest. I thought that's what they should have done for Grievous in general. Like, make him this. He's a Jedi killer. He collects trophies of lightsabers. Bro, he should be the scariest dude you ever come across on the battlefield, and this series does him justice. He is spinning, pulling out 4 blades, grabbing people by his foot and throwing them in the ceiling.
Bro, one of the hardest is when he starts spider walking against these people,
Yeah.
just walking all the way upside down. And he loves showing off that collection in this show. I swear to God, every time he was like, look how many bodies I got.
Dude, oh man, like they should have kept this Grievous. Like, keep this, and then by the ending, like how they explain his cough, they should have kept that. But then they eventually retconned it, and they're like, no, Grievous always had that cough. Because I think George Lucas was like, he always wanted him to be like the dastardly villain, like, I got Anakin Skywalker now. Oh, wait, he's on my ship? Hold up.
Yeah, a very
I don't
B-roll.
want that shit.
Yeah, very B-roll type of villain. Yeah, I
like,
agree.
he just runs anytime there's I mean, I get it. When he has the cough, I get it. But I want to see that badass Grievous. And that's, bro, you at least have to watch the show for Grievous. You have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because otherwise, like, it doesn't really make sense why Grievous is there. Like, I know, like, for fun factor, like, and laugh, but he wasn't that funny, respectfully. So it doesn't make sense when you watch a little bit of other media and you see Ventress, who's pretty capable and becomes capable way later as well. And then you got Grievous, who he ain't got no type of hands, it feel like.
Nah.
Obi-Wan just pulled up and shit on him. So
Like, even in the Clone Wars show, they really shit on him. Like, he has that one cool episode with, like, called Lair of Grievous, where I thought that was really cool. Like, he showed him as, like, a menace. But that's about it. Otherwise, he's just like, whoa, Obi-Wan's here. I'm not fighting this man. Get me to the escape pod. like, come on, Grievous. Bro, you're supposed to be the Jedi killer.
No, I agree with you, especially with that episode, because doesn't it show a statue of him when he was a human, like actually as like a warrior?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, Grievous is actually an interesting character. Like, there's more to him than him just running away. You know, that he actually is a warrior that has, developed into this Jedi killer. And like Johnny was saying, this show does a fantastic job encapsulating like that he is a Jedi killer. He is a problem, a real problem to the Jedi. Members of the Jedi Council couldn't keep up with him. Multiple could not keep up with General Grievous.
squads.
Yeah.
Literally a whole
obliterated.
squad. Mundy was going to straight up die.
He straight up was, yeah. So the capstone of Volume 1, because that's how it's split up on like Disney Plus and most places that you can view it, is that we have Anakin versus Asajj Ventress, who she baits him into coming over. And it's a really cool battle for multiple reasons. One of them is the light versus darkness, like the red and blue contrast of the lightsabers falling on him. And then when Anakin gets the red all over him, when he used the red lightsaber, kind of foreshadowing a little bit, which is brilliantly done. And just every scene from that fight is absolutely stellar. But it's a really high stakes battle because if Asajj Ventress can get rid of Anakin, she becomes Count Dooku's official apprentice. Like, she is full on Sith. Now, if Anakin can take down Ventress, he's kind of proved that he's worthy of being a Jedi Knight. So it's a very high stakes battle. And then you got the General Grievous moment. And I love how they did that scene. You guys can tell me if you agree with this. Like, I love the suspense that they have. Like, you can hear like the droid footsteps. They're like, how is a droid this strong? You're like, what the? Is it a droideka kind of thing? Is it like an AT-AT? You're like, who? Because at this point in time, the audience does not know who General Grievous is.
Yeah,
that's what
that's
we
a good
need to
point.
remember, is that this is his introduction. This is our first time seeing General Grievous. So we don't know who this actual droid is coming up. So the fact that it's a droid that can wield lightsabers, not just one, not just two, 4 lightsabers at a time, and has, I think it's 1, 2, because it was Shakti, Coyote Mundi, Ayla Secura, and then another.
And then 2 Padawans.
And then 2 Padawans.
Yeah, one of them just gets squished. And then,
I mean, you can tell the one looked like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Yeah, he
But
just
getting
didn't look like.
squished is crazy.
Yeah, he just didn't look like a fighter. It was an L before anything could even happen.
Oh yeah, and there was like a furry dude who got he was the first one who got cut down.
Yeah, he
like
got
this,
cooked.
Yeah, this shit didn't like
Chewbacca Jr.
Poor Chewbacca Junior. But like that show like, and this is something I appreciate in the CG Clone Wars and this show. It's violent. Like dudes are dying. People are dying. Like they don't hold back. Like, and they like, even though they won't show it, the implied nature of it makes it worse in your brain because you're like, oh, that man got cut down. Oh, he got grabbed by his head, potentially like broke his neck, and then threw him in the ceiling.
Man got clawed machined by a foot.
Yeah, that's horrifying if you think about it. Like, damn.
this was groundbreaking, okay? And we can't emphasize this enough, is that we all are spoiled because we know who General Grievous is. We're familiar with how the story goes and how everything gets painted. But at this point in time, this is a brand new character, and we didn't know like how relevant, General Grievous was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
We had no idea his significance. And this show, honestly, I wish they stayed more faithful. I really wish they stayed more faithful to this, because he was slaying Jedi. Like Coyote Mundi, so Volume 2 picks up right at the end of Volume 1. All right, these Jedi are still terrified. Like, they're petrified of General Grievous. Coyote Mundi, this guy, he's like beaten to like a pulp. And he's coming and he gets rescued by a clone, some clone commandos. And you got Shaak Ti is basically on life support. She's like damn near dead.
Her and Ayla.
Yeah, her and Ayla Secura. They're just like, they're basically dead. They're like borderline dead. Spoiler, they actually make it. For a little bit.
Of course.
For a little bit.
until a certain catastrophic event happens.
Yeah. But yeah, so Volume 2 picks right back up where Volume 1 left off. And some amazing events go down in Volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah.
we got Anakin's coming of age, so to speak.
Yeah, he finally grows hair.
He finally grows hair.
He finally did it. Character development.
Yeah.
He grew hair.
Loses the rat tail.
Thank God. But it's cool. Volume 2 like shows more of the more fighting between like the clone army, the Jedi, and everybody. But Anakin and Obi-Wan, they go on to a different planet in the outer rim. But meanwhile, you got certain scenes that I really enjoyed. Like I think a really underrated scene is when Count Dooku's training General Grievous, and he's like, "Your form is too. You got to attack my middle form. Good. All right." Then keep slashing, force pushing him away, and then he's like, "All right, you're doing good, but you need fear, intimidation, and the element of surprise. For if one of these is out of balance, you will lose." And like that whole speech, I was like, dude, that was barely even that was just one scene. And I felt so much from that. Like, you feel more from Dooku and Count Dooku and General Grievous' relationship, because he's training him and doing and trying to help him out and shit. Like, I don't think you get that kind of thing in the movies. Like that, just those little moments help it. I love that stuff like that. And of course, on top of that, you got really badass action.
The low-key Dooku don't give a fuck about this nigga at all.
He never did.
That's what always killed me about that relationship. Like, you building someone up, and the whole time it's like, as soon as this man does exactly what I tell him to do, I'm gonna kill his ass. It's gonna be great. But I loved the fact that they kept true to individuals' forms as well. Like, Dooku is known to be a duelist, and that's why he 2v1s in the movie as well. He's known to do that, and he's basically like a fencer, if you want to put it in a different type of term. Same with Anakin. He's an aggressive type combatant, and all the time he's just hammering down on niggas in that show. Obi-Wan, defensive. He never really is attacking. He's reacting majority of the time. Still should have kept the fit though, because that was
The clone
But they
armor,
gotta be
insane.
free. They gotta have free.
No, bro.
If they
Get
have
rid of
armor, how
Space
are they gonna be
Jesus.
free?
Put back. This man looked so stupid hard. He felt like a commander, and it made me respect him in versus the movies where it's just like, Anakin, don't do that. Nigga, shut up. Let my man Anakin ride.
Now, I am singing this show's high praise, but it does not, it does still have flaws. It does still have problems. And one of the differences between the micro series and the actual 2008 Clone Wars is that you don't really get relationships with the clone troopers. That's one thing that I always admired about the 2008 series, is that you got so much more depth with the clone troopers. Before, in the movie's fodder, that's exactly what they are. They weren't significant at all. You get to, Commander Cody, Commander Rex, you get to build a relationship with them. In this series, they are cool because they do hand and arm signals and stuff. They actually show they're real commandos. They actually know what the hell they're doing, but there's no depth to them. There's you don't feel it when they die, versus when I'm watching the 2008 Clone Wars, when a clone trooper died, you're like, ooh, dang, it's he was part of the squad. That's unfortunate. You felt the impact of it. In this show, you're just that sucks, but whatever.
Yeah, clone trooper number 385.
Yeah,
oh no, he died.
You just keep it going.
But,
and I think that's one of the few drawbacks to the show. And I mean, it's also partially limitation of time. You don't have that much time to build them up.
To be honest, though, what they do make up for it in Volume 1, how you said, they have they're using hand signals, and it feels like a military unit really moving around. that was a really cool scene. And of course, that one badass scene that I always see it pasted around the internet everywhere. When he's like, oh, come on, we need reinforcements. We got people down. And then he looks over, bop, 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 boom, bop, 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 boom, boom, bop, 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 bop. He's just lighting people, like all them droids up. I was like, this is a one-man army.
He's not even playing. I was like, it was insane, that scene.
He was just
like,
picking
the
up
clone
different
trooper
weapons,
was
too.
popping off. He said, all right, bet. Just search John Wick. He just searched John Wick on him. It's insane. It was insane.
Only time you feel something in that show for the troopers, to be honest, because I was like, damn, he earned the stripes.
He
Still
did.
died, though.
Oh, you should. So in the very end of Volume 1, when Anakin's about to face off against Asajj Ventress, all right, Asajj Ventress, she makes a very powerful entrance. She just disrespects the fuck out of these clone troopers. She goes, boom, 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 just throws them against walls. It was ridiculous. She absolutely disrespected every single clone trooper in that
The
scene.
one clone trooper who was just flying in the air, just circling. Oh. Like, they didn't even play no music or nothing. He's just flying in the air. I was like, what? Why they do him so
They
dirty?
put
Like,
too much sauce into Ventress. Too much sauce.
Oh my gosh. I did think the most comical scene in there, I think it was Volume 2. I can't remember. I think it was in early Volume 2. But the one dude, so they're raiding a clone facility. I think this is another one with Mace Windu, if I remember correctly, or at least Yoda. And no, it was with Anakin and Obi-Wan. That's what it was. They were raiding a clone factory. And the guy, he said, they're going to need thousands of Jedi to beat this. Maybe hundreds, right?
Yeah.
And the droid is like, oh, I see Jedi. He's like, how many of them? Hundreds? He said, no, sir. Like 50? You said no. He said, at least 20, right? He said, no. He was like, 10. No, not at all. He said 2, sir. 2! This man lost it. He literally, he was flabbergasted. His math was so far off. I actually was cracking up. I was like, that's such a small scene, but I was dying. This man was so confident. He said hundreds. 2. What? Yo, that was hilarious. I did really enjoy that scene.
yeah, honestly, Volume 2 has like 2 good highlights. Number 1, the Battle of Coruscant, when they invade and do the whole plot to kidnap Palpatine. That was goddamn. Like that one scene Jose mentioned where it's like Mace Windu comes down, grabs a fighter and hijacks it, and they just slice in, and then he comes in with Obi-Wan and just like drops the whole ship and just goes back to punching the droids. I was like, what the? And then Yoda's in there getting some action in too. He's riding on like them animals, and he's like, pop, pop, like slicing them up. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, Yoda was funny. He said, have at the. He was smacking people away, bro.
They never disrespect Yoda in any form or fashion.
Never.
He always pull up.
Never.
And the other big highlight is with Anakin and Obi-Wan, because I thought their whole thing was because they went to the Outer Rim. I'm like, oh, this is probably going to be like some just minor side story. Honestly, not only is it good foreshadowing for Anakin going towards the dark side, I just deadass think it was a good ass story. Like with all these people, this alien race that you only see once, that's it. But it made me feel for them so fucking bad because I was like, oh, they're kidnapping all the male warriors. What's going on here? And then they turn them into these like abominations. I was like, oh my God. And they don't even fix them. I was like, what the bro? That's messed up. like if you really think about it, like, yeah, it's a cartoon, but thinking about it like how it actually would be in real life, that's messed up. That's really messed up.
Mm-hmm.
These people are permanently disfigured.
And that scene was very powerful because of expression. Again, with that visual storytelling, it was a lot of expression that you saw on the screen. They didn't need to say a whole lot for that scene to be powerful. Everything was just in their gestures, their face, their movements, the way they were acting. It told the whole story, which is incredible. I absolutely love that in a show, when a show is able to tell a story from just movements and expressiveness. Yeah, that was a really good moment. I did enjoy that. I love that the dynamic between Anakin and Obi-Wan changed, to reflect how it is that coming of age. So before, like literally in the start of Volume 1, he's just straight up defying Obi-Wan, just straight up defying. And then it builds up to Obi-Wan is vouching for Anakin, and they go from mentor, mentee to literally comrade in arms, and they're fighting alongside each other. Anakin gets this degree of maturity to a point, and he's even listened to Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan at one point, he's like, hey, no need to fight. He like throws down some beads, force pushes them, and they all explode. But Anakin was like, oh, like, He actually was like patient, listened to his master, watched, and learned some from him. And I really enjoyed that their dynamic grew because again, this is a micro series. That's insane that their relationship. Honestly, I think it was better than the 2008 Clone Wars how they did their dynamic because they were able to do what they did in 5 seasons in like 30 minutes. Which is insane. It's insane. But yeah, the capstone of that season is that I forgot what planet they are. Or they
I don't remember
to.
what the planet was. You call it like, I don't know. What are the people called? Like, I don't know, the Avatar people. Like, I don't know.
Avatar people.
I don't know. They're blue. Man, I think blue. I think blue people. Avatar.
Let me see. I'll look it up.
Like you can look it up, but like they like that. They the capstone was as like Anakin becoming like the chosen one in their eyes, and then like the whole prophecy like it's foreshadowing like towards Darth Vader and the dark side of what Anakin becomes. And then I ain't gonna lie, that's probably like Anakin's most like along with his fight with the Zaj Ventress, his most badass scene when he comes out. Metal arm ripped off and he's looking pissed as fuck. Bro, tell me when I looked at that scene like, yo, y'all, I ain't gonna spoil what happens. Just watch it for yourselves when at the ending, when that man just goes crazy. Like, I love that scene.
I agree with you. Also, the planet is called Nelvan, Nelvaan, and they were called Novanians.
Novanians, okay, I'm gonna forget it tomorrow.
Yeah.
No disrespect, they were cool. But there was the probably another. Of course, we got to shout out our homie Grievous when he kidnaps Palpatine and he's chasing after the whole group of Jedi and the Padawans. Man, that was awesome. I love that. The whole scene, that whole chase was awesome.
And yeah, the series ends just leading up to the final installment of our 6th episode Star Wars movie saga, and it was a great ending. I thought it was very good. Yeah. I thought they did a stellar job wrapping everything up. I won't dive too much into it. As most of you probably know how the story ends.
Yeah, most of y'all, everybody knows how it ends. How did we get to Luke?
I still would like to see it animated. I would pay money to have this continue.
Man, if they actually did a whole if Clone Wars was animated like this, I would sacrifice both of my nuts. I would happily do it.
Yep, he will sell them for research.
Yo, Jose and Amir will happily sacrifice all their nuts too if we can get a whole Clone Wars animated series in this whole style right now. Come on, let's do it. God, are you hearing us?
Hashtag nutless for Star Wars.
They made enough money, nigga. I'll pay.
But for real though, like it's a goddamn shame it's not canon. Because literally the ending of Volume 2 perfectly sets up Episode 3. Why Grievous has that coffin and stuff like that. It perfectly set it up. And then they're like, nah, that didn't happen. that happened.
I know we kind of said it. Did we actually say officially what happened?
Yeah, because you mean we'll spoil it, but we can't spoil the action. That's something we can never spoil. You have to watch that for yourself. But by the ending, they kidnap Palpatine, which is like the lead up into Episode 3. But Grievous is ready to fight Mace Windu, and then Mace Windu crushes his lungs, and he's like, bro, that was badass. And it makes the most perfect sense.
It makes the most sense. And it also, again, puts a little bit more respect on Mace Windu's character, being like, hey, he has that affiliation with Grievous. He was that guy that made him that way, Just shows that he's a little bit stronger. It shows that Grievous is not this invulnerable, Jedi killer. It just makes so much sense. It really does. It really does.
And it ties back to what Dooku was saying. He needed several elements to overcome a normal Jedi. Samuel Jackson is light and dark side. That's why he got the purple saber. So half the shit he's trying to pull is not going to work on him. Mace Windu would fuck him up.
Like, for real, dude. Like, man, it's a goddamn shame, bro. But in my headcanon space, this is canon. This is 100% canon. Clone Wars exists, but this is still canon. This is why General Grievous has that cough.
It is exactly why.
I know. I'm just in denial.
Then don't worry. You're allowed to. Gaslight yourself. So now we have to answer the important question. Do you guys think this is better than the 2008 Clone Wars series?
No.
That's it. Okay. Keep going.
I'm only saying no because I love the action. And I think like, as a Star Wars fan, it gives me so much supporting material to love the movies in a better way because they lack in certain facilities, if I want to keep it respectful. But the later series, I don't know. I feel like, yes, there might be boring parts, but it developed the world and all these characters in a very long form that I got attached to every single one. Even the clone troopers, like you were saying before. And I think that's why you mentioned it, because we got so attached to all these squad mates that when someone died, it hurt. And even though, yes, it might be stiff when it comes to the action, in comparison, it still portrayed its point. I love Palpatine coming and torturing niggas. It was the best thing in the world.
It was. Like honestly, Amir's like 100%. Like, I'm a Gennady Tartakovsky fan. I'm a dick rider. I'm 100%. I'll admit it. But even I can admit the action transcends what that what the 2008 series has, but it doesn't beat the story. It does not beat the story. Like, especially what they do with Darth Maul, how they develop Ahsoka, how they develop Anakin, especially like way later on. Like when you see like the foreshadowing that they give, and like certain characters like the clone troopers, Rex, Fives, my man. But like Echo, like the Bad Batch, who they get now, they have their own series and stuff like that. It expands on so much that I have to go story over action every time. You know, if you give me a terrible story but give me good action, that's fine, but I still want a good story. You feel me? The 2008 series has problems. It does have its fair share of filler. We'll get to it. We'll get to that series one day, because that does have fair share of filler, but you can't deny that it has really good story elements in that thing. So yeah, I'll say action for the old series, but I got to go with the story for the new ones. So new one beats it. I'm sorry, old series.
Character and narrative are definitely better in 2008, but overall, like for being a condensed package, I think overall, everything considered, the micro series is better, because it was able to do 6 seasons of the Clone Wars, in 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It made the new movie at the time worth watching. Everybody was amped for it because they got more context, and also just to paint a picture. So for people that actually watched the first Star Wars movie, or in the 1970s. Obi-Wan, I think it was Obi-Wan. No, yeah, it was Obi-Wan that had mentioned the Clone Wars in that movie. Nobody knew what the Clone Wars was. Nobody, like, you got to think that it was just a passing mention. The fact that you were able to get a visual of that almost 30 years later was, something impactful. It was some extravagant. So I think for what it was worth, the micro series, it definitely holds its ground against the 2008 series.
Yeah.
It definitely does. But that's not for me saying don't watch 2008, because please go watch it. Please go watch the 2008 Clone Wars series. We will cover that. Like, just without a doubt, we will take the time to do that. And we'll put more respect on that as well.
I ain't gonna lie. I'll be 100% honest. Personal bias, I'm watching the 2003 series. Like, personal bias, I'm watching that. It's my favorite. But if I'm speaking objectively, I'll have to say 2008 is probably better. But personal bias always beats objective. So yeah, 2003 is the best.
Even though I prefer the older series, I wouldn't like put it like 2 levels below. Like, it's a really close tie.
It's equal footing, and it says it paints the same picture just in different methods. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's the same story just in different methods in terms of visual and storytelling. But yeah,
the 2 completely different series, so you gotta judge them on different merits.
Exactly. 2003 Star Wars. Go check it out if you haven't already. And if you have, go revisit it. Go revisit the micro series. It's like 2 hours of your life, not even. It's available pretty much anywhere. If you just Google it, just bam.
Yeah. Go show your girlfriend. Go show your boyfriend. Go show your mama. Go show your daddy. Go show your sister.
Go show your dog, your goldfish, the chickens, the goats.
They better know about it.
Don't let me catch you celebrating May the 4th and you putting disrespect on Grievous' name.
Mm-hmm.
I know you didn't watch the series. You fake, bro. Watch both of
them. Exactly. Watch both of them. Watch them. Celebrate some Star Wars on May the 4th. If you're watching this before May the 4th, go celebrate May the 4th correctly. If you're watching it after, hope you had a great May the 4th.
That's right.
Yeah. Live long and prosper.
I feel bad for all y'all who are rewatching the whole movie trilogy. Not even just trilogy, the whole saga. Especially the prequels and the late quels. The late quels.
I need a lot of alcohol for
that. That's pretty good. Well, thank y'all so much for listening and watching. As always, we appreciate y'all so very much. Until next time, peace out, members.
May the Force be with some of y'all. Remember When is a Sweet Recording production. Check them out at suiterecording.com.
Intro and outro created by our very own Johnny.
Subscribe, listen, and remember to review wherever you are on social media. Thanks for listening.